one. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks, Erik. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. How are you today?
I'm good.
Hey,
How are
you know
you?
what it is?
What is it?
Best day ever.
Love it, dude. Badass shirt.
I got custom made T-shirts. I think I'm gonna make these available soon since we're
Dude,
all jobless.
I know, right? I need to order one. It's your backup
we'll
plan.
Get them a discount for everybody. It's so crazy, man. So crazy.
Dude, so glad to have you in. We decided just to hit record because me and him have been talking about this for like 10 minutes, and we're like, everything that we're talking about is relevant, so why not? But anyway, welcome in, everyone. We're in incredibly odd times, and Erik is a small business owner in LA. You've been impacted multiple ways. Lots of people are getting impacted, and I've always loved your attitude. You bring the energy you bring, and I think it's why I wanted to have you on right now. And I think
thanks, man.
Absolutely, it's time that we share positive things, share other ideas, because I think a lot of people are waiting for shit to get back to normal. I don't think we're never going back there. Never.
I mean, what is normal going to be after this? I mean, we don't know. And I like when you and I were talking just a few minutes ago, I like something you said earlier, like, man, I can't worry about tomorrow right now. I really can't, because there's so many unknowns. And I think that's what's making so many people uncomfortable about all this. Is the fear of that, because this is really like, people, like you were saying, hey, maybe this will get back to normal again and back to normal. Mm-hmm. But you got to realize that the land, I mean, it's one thing to say, to say everyththing's going to be okay. And it's okay to keep a positive attitude and a positive outlook, but you also can't overlook the gorilla running down the hallway at you, either.
Yeah.
So, it appears that there is a gorilla that's running down the hallway in the form of what it's done to the economy and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to have to move and adapt and shape into something different, man.
Yeah.
And, and I think a lot of positive things are coming out of this.
I do too, man.
I've talked to several of my friends, and I can tell you the one thing that I've noticed, firsthand and from multiple people that I've talked to, is my biggest complaint has always been with Los Angeles is that, there's too many people here, obviously, but it's the way that people treat each other here. People are just not that nice. It's really cold. It's very plastic. It's very, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that there's not good people in LA, because there definitely is. But as a whole, it's kind of a more cutthroat style of, existence and that kind of stuff. And everybody's in a hurry. But, but now suddenly everybody has been forced to take a pause on all this.
Mm-hmm.
And I have noticed being out at the park, and like I said, some other people that I've talked to, man, even from a distance, I've had people actually wave at me and tell me to have a nice day here. And how are you doing? Hey, how you doing today? That kind of stuff. And that is very odd for Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of amazed at how it looks like there's about to be a massive shift in consciousness, if it's not already happening.
I believe 100% that's what's going on. And it's forced.
I do
that's
too.
Exactly what's happening, man.
Yeah. I have this phrase that I've used so many times, and it's been really important in my life. Man, the universe will often do for you things that you would not do for yourself.
Yeah.
And this is one of those deals where it's like, hey, everybody's being a little crazy right now. Hey, time to settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Settle down and take really important to you. Your family, your health, all these other things, and and the money stuff. I mean, obviously everybody's terrified because of the money issues, and I think everything's gonna be okay. I know that in my mind, that's what I've got in my head. Everything's gonna be fine. Now it may not go back to normal, but it's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through this, and hopefully we'll come out of this with a lot more of our humanity intact as well. But
there's a lot, man. There's a lot of that going on.
It's a pretty crazy scenario that we're in.
Yeah. Did you see that thing I texted you yesterday? I posted it too. Said, when written in Chinese, the word crisis composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. You see that?
Yeah, I've got it on my phone. Yeah, I love that. I actually sent that out to 2 or 3 different people.
Yeah, I mean, and I think honestly, that's how we look at it. How do we look at this? Like, oh shit, I'm losing this. What next? What's going to happen then? Or what can I do now? What can I do next? And I truly believe that, like, you're an example dude, like you live the life that you love, you know, like you're one of the rare ones that has just gone all in and done that, but you do. So nice cough cover there, by the way. But I mean, you know, like a lot of people,
yeah,
I think we're pausing up for a second there. You there?
There we go.
All right, cool. But no, you know, like you're one of the rare ones that actually does what you love to do. And, you know, I believe that that's possible for everyone. And, you know, it's about taking that courage and having the right attitude and trying something, putting yourself out there.
Well, I think, again, going back to the universe will often do for you things that you won't do for yourself.
Yeah.
Man, this is a time where, like, you think about somebody who might be stuck in a job that they hate going to every single day. Mm-hmm. And now suddenly they don't have to do that, but they've had a dream in the back of their head about something else that they've wanted to do their whole life, or some other kind of, you know, career path that they wanted to follow and all that other kind of stuff. And I'm
when the right time came.
Yeah. It's always when Aunt Bertha moves out of the house, or when the kids
when I have enough money saved up,
that's when it's going to happen. You know, all those things. But you know, now it's kind of forcing people to really look at, and I think this is one of the most important things that we can take out of all of this. What really makes you happy? Yeah. Like really what makes you happy in general? Happy you are, because if that's the case, man, you're going to have a really hard road here for a while, you know, if the external conditions are dictating how you feel on the inside, versus, hey man, I feel good on the inside all the time, or a vast majority of the time, because I try to treat people in a kind way, and I try to be loving, and I try to do the things in a, you know, an ethical way, and all those kind of things. And I really think people are going to start developing and start looking at different ways that their happiness is not going to be coming from all the stuff outside, but it's going to have to start coming from within. The joy of being around your family, getting to see your kids more, you know, all these other things. And I know because of the social distancing thing, you know, we can't really be face to face and, you know, touchy, you know, being able to see your loved ones and, you know, like grandparents, for instance, and things like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, I think this is a big shift when we're talking about the shift in consciousness that's happening. I think the shift in consciousness is really going to roll in the direction of, hey, where does my happiness really come from? And I think a lot of people are really starting to realize that, like, hey, my job sucked. I did not like it. You know, I was just doing X, Y, and Z. I only got to see my kids.
Just over broke. You know, I love that saying. Job stands for just over broke.
Oh, man, I am going to save that. I literally am going to steal that from you, because that is 100%.
I steal all kinds of shit from you, and I stole it from someone else. So knock yourself out. Best day ever, dude.
Hey, and by the way,
best day ever gets me. I want a shirt. Dude, it gets me through tough days.
You know what's so funny is, so we were talking earlier before the podcast, you know, I, like most people, am running on emergency funds right now. I had money saved that I put away. And it was actually now it's turned into, you know, like my lifeline. But on top of that, you know, I had for what for me was a lot of money out in the stock market. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure as soon as people hear that, they're like, ugh, they're cringing. So, you know, that was going to be my absolute backup plan, that I could liquidate stock out and do that kind of stuff. And then 2 days ago, literally in like the span of 2 minutes, I lost 75% of what I had in the market. And so I literally, my girlfriend was here at the time, and she was kind of watching. And of course I was shocked at first, for sure, but I kind of felt like that it was better for me to go ahead and keep following the principles that I've been following, instead of freaking out, because the freaking out was not going to help everything. So what I've tried to do is just kind of detach from it, in that, hey, listen, it's okay. It'll be fine. It's not that big a deal. You know, I lost 75% of, you know, the money that I have suddenly, you know, in one day. And, you know, I'm actually really okay with that, because I've never had a time in my life where the universe let me fall completely on my face and not be able to get back up. Yeah. So I have faith that that's, you know, that's not going to happen, that I'm not going to fall completely apart and all those other kind of things. But, you know, one of the interesting things I think that happened out of that, my girlfriend was sitting here and she was watching me. And I paced around a little bit more than normal and all that other kind of stuff.
It's understandable,
like,
dude.
Well, you ready to go to the park? Yeah. And I was, you know, I paced around a little bit, thought about it for a few minutes. And took a few deep breaths, and I was like, you know what? I got to practice these kind of principles that I've been working on. I got to practice. This is really where it meets. Can you really make these principles work? And can you really have the detachment from things turning out the way that you want them to, being detached from that, from having the outcome that you need to have happen or that you want to have happen, and it doesn't happen. Are you okay being that being okay too? And I felt like it was the biggest compliment ever. My girlfriend goes, wow, I'm really watching you handle this and learning a lot from this as well. And I was like, really? She goes, yeah, you're not freaking out. She's like, because I would be freaking the fuck out if it were me.
Yeah.
But, that kind of is what it is. And, all the times that I've pushed and pushed and pushed and I wanted an outcome out of something, I pushed for it and pushed for it and pushed for it, especially in relationships and things like that. Make it work, make it work, make it work. You were with the wrong person in the first place. And at the end of the day, a lot of times I could force that square peg into the round hole. But what I thought was going to happen when I forced it in there, it ended up looking completely different. It was not what I wanted it to be or any of those other kind of things. Whereas if you just let it go and you let some higher power work that stuff out for you, then, oftentimes, actually every time, it's ended up working out better than I could ever have imagined it being. So
I think it's
it's just an interesting thing. And then right after
swimming upstream, resistance.
Right after I lost 75. Yeah. Right after I lost 75% of, the money that I had in one day, she's like, well, what do you want to do now? I was like, let's go to the park and throw the Frisbee like we do every other day. So we went out to the park and laughed and threw a Frisbee, and it came back. And I was just like, all right, man, I guess we move on to plan C or D. I'm not really sure what to do here, but, I don't think that watching the news 24/7 is great for you. I don't think that, all those other things that are going on in the world, constantly focusing on that. I think that takes away the joy of this time that we have right now.
Yeah. It does.
Because this is an unprecedented time, not just because of this, but because you now suddenly have it. Nobody can really work. I mean, 70% of people in the U.S. are not working right now. That's never happened in history.
Yeah.
So, you can either choose to look at this as an opportunity to work on a lot of personal development, some other things, which is one of the other things I was going to tell you too. I've talked to a few different people, and I keep getting this overwhelming sense that there's a lot of personal growth that's going on with people. And hey, personal growth is not always fun and not always, it can be a little painful sometimes to go through and very uncomfortable. But,
yes,
I'm just seeing, it seems like more and more people are, reorganizing their priorities and also really focusing on what they are now realizing is the most important thing. And that's really your relationships with other people and, the internal guidance that you have
and yourself
too.
Yeah. I mean, and I heard a great analogy talking about, I know that meditation's part of your life. It is part of mine as well, but like social distancing, like that's, I mean, that's about, we've been doing that shit all along, every time you go inside and meditate, I mean, you are isolating, and that, it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to not have their routine. It's their ego attachments. And, like we're attached to expectations. We're attached to our things and what we think we are, and it's when you go inside and you're alone in this time, like I'm outside as much as possible. I love being outside. It's chilly today, but it's beautiful. Like I just love being outside in fresh air, and some people are just, like you said, stuck on that, like watching the damn news and freaking out about this, that, and what if, and, I mean, television tells lies to your vision.
What's interesting about all that is the first 3 or 4 days when everything started shutting down, I felt like I needed to be in the know to see, what was the president actually saying and, what kind of guidelines were actually being put out there. And I was having to watch the news just to kind of figure out where my business was going to go from here. So for about 3 or 4 days, I got in the habit of waking up in the morning and I would turn on the news, but I would watch CNN for 15 minutes, MSNBC for 15 minutes, and watch Fox for 15 minutes. So I had 45 minutes of news.
Yeah.
By the end of that 45 minutes, I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely the most doomsday worst case scenarios that you could see all the time. And then I also started realizing, like, it's really strange, the narrative that that everybody is they're almost saying the exact same talking points, like they're looking off the same sheet of paper that's been handed to them. So it was very interesting, but after a while, it just made me feel gross. I just felt gross with it. So I watched the news again since then, and I seem to be uninformed because it does come out and make a speech and says that X, Y, and Z are going to happen, as a relief package, that kind of stuff. I do want to be aware of that, but what I'm saying overall is the same things that and that you always say too, is that, man, it's poison for the mind too much. A steady stream of commercial news is poison for the mind. It will make you be terrified. And if you were an elderly person who sits at home and watches Fox News or CNN all day, you would think that there is a murderer on every corner and that the virus is literally like weaving its way through your air conditioning vents to get to you and all that kind of stuff.
Not only that, that it's like hemorrhagic fever. People, like, what if we changed? I know it's serious, but like, what if we changed the word from COVID or coronavirus to flu? Oh, Tom Hanks has the flu. Big, people, this mindset. And I was the same way, dude. I did a video about it because I cut news out for years. Just none.
Yeah.
And I, like you when this started, but and what you said it made you feel gross, and that's important. How you feel, as that's part of Best Day Ever. It's our feelings and elevating those emotions. That's what's important, and if something's making you feel bad, it's going to bring so many other bad things to you. Thought, where our thoughts go, our energy goes, our attention, where our attention goes, energy flows.
Yep. And that's one of the things I was going to say. I look at it a lot of times like the old school bumper cars at a carnival. Man, you start developing this little bubble around you by the way that you think and your mindset and that kind of stuff. And what'll happen is you'll start bumping into things. You'll start bumping into things that are kind of contrary to what you think. And the news is primarily, I'm specifically speaking about the news. You keep bumping up into that. You keep bumping up into that. You keep bumping up into that. And you realize that the narrative that they're pitching is not really the truth that you believe in you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, well, that makes me feel pretty gross, because they're basically telling you that the end of the world is coming and that all is lost and our economy's decimated. And it literally has been all bad news is what I've been looking at. There's like so much bad news coming out. And after a while, you're like, how much more of that do I have to listen to? And like the bumper car, if you're really concentrating on trying to be happy and trying to live a fulfilled life and all that kind of stuff that comes from within inside you, not outside, then you'll start hitting that stuff. You'll bump away from it, and you'll start moving away from that. Hey, I don't want to bump into that anymore because that does not feel good. I don't want to bump into that anymore. I can focus on what's really important to me right now. Being loving and kind to people, trying to help people out when I can, and realizing that we are all on the big boat called planet Earth now, which is the other thing that I think is, I think it's a really important take out of this. We're all on this little ball of water and land that is flying through the space at millions of miles an hour. And, here we are, everybody's so freaked out about the economy and all that stuff, me included a little bit, but, it's still important to realize that we're all in this together. We really are all in this together. And listen, you don't really have any other options. And again, going back to the money thing, that's one of the things my girlfriend said. She's like, I'm so surprised that you're just not losing it right now. She's like, because I would be. And I'm like, but that's not going to help anything. No. It really is not going to help anything. And I'm not going to lie, for about 30 minutes, it was running through my head. I was like, wow, I can't believe that really just happened, because it was a long shot that would happen. And the long shot happened. It's like, whoa. Okay. Wow. So now we're in worst case scenario for, financially. So you just kind of have to keep rolling from there. But again, if I lost everything, if I was completely bankrupt, if I didn't have anywhere to go and any of that, I still think that I would be okay. I really do believe in my heart that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I just keep dwelling on too. And what's funny? What's funny is right after that happened, I was like, well, I just lost most of my money and put the phone down. And I looked at her and I go, but it's still the best day ever. Let's go through the
Love it. I love it, dude. That's important, man. How important is that mantra right now to you?
Hey, listen, I tell you what, because I do it every day anyway, now it has taken on a kind of a different life in and of itself. And that I'm like, hey, this is kind of the crutch that I'm leaning on right now. Hey, today is the best day ever. But it's, here's the other thing too. I've realized, this is the part we talk about being present. Hey, they're the guy back there. Yeah. Talk about being present. In this moment, in this particular time, in this day, I'm okay, man. I'm not flat broke right now. I mean, I'm not out in the street right now. I've got food in my cabinets. I've got some things that I can still work on, all that kind of stuff. That's the part that I'm focusing on in the here and now, because I cannot control tomorrow, and I definitely can't do anything about yesterday. Yeah. So, it seems like it's, and this is the other thing that I've been seeing, through Instagram posts and some of that stuff that people have been putting up. I think people are being forced into being more present, of just get through today, just do today, just do today,
I told you that before we were talking, like the shit that I've been through in the last 4 or 5 years, I know has prepared me for this time. For that reason, it has forced me to be present. So when you're running low on options and you're facing huge obstacles with no answers, you can't live any other time but right now. It makes you be hyper present. But the more that you are present, the more that you choose to have the best day ever, no matter what's going on, the better that things will get for you. And things always work out, dude. They always work out.
Yeah. And for the listeners out there, one of the things that's helped me is looking for the little victories every day. In this particular day, I've got looking for those little things that are happening. I'm like, okay, I've been making a list out every single day. And I have been on fire, knocking out lists left and right of things that I need to do. This. I get to the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I accomplished more today than I probably have in a month, you know? And I was always a list maker anyway, but I've been very meticulous about making out lists and knocking out things one at a time, one after the other, because I can only control what I can control.
The rest of raising the stuff, your vibration, man, dude.
I really
makes you feel good, right?
It totally is. Absolutely. Hey, and two, I want to tell you this while we're on camera too. Your posts have been amazing. I mean, they're always good. But for the past week, man, I have absolutely loved. I have laughed till I've had tears in my eyes. And some of the stuff you said, I love some of the funny posts too, man.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
I've actually had a couple of guys I know have made comments about it too. They're like, "Dude, did you see Lance's post this morning? It is absolutely hilarious." And so we're like laughing on the phone about it. And Clayton was saying the other day, he's like, "Dude, I love Lance's posts." He's like, "They're so good." He's like, and I called him. I called him 4 or 5 nights ago at night. We usually talk during the morning. I usually give him a call every morning. And I called him at night, and he picked up the phone and was laughing. I go, "Dude, what are you laughing at right now?" He didn't even say hello. He just picked up the phone and was dying. I go, "What are you laughing at, man?" He goes, "Dude, I'm looking at the posts that Lance put up on Facebook." So I immediately went to my Instagram and started scrolling through them, and we were just laughing on the phone together about some of the stuff he'd been putting out there. Dude. But man, people need that shit right now.
I know, really man, and it's like I haven't, like that. I've always been a fun person. I guess I've kind of held that side back. I share inspirational shit that a lot of people probably want to slap me for. Whatever. Stuff comes to me, but at this time, I feel that laughter's super important. And, like like everyone's sharing different things. So that's another alternative to watching the fucking news and shit all the time, or watching Tiger King.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Laugh. We take life way too damn seriously. Nobody's getting out of here alive. Make time to laugh every fucking day. We have to. But thank you. I've had so much fun with it. Yeah.
Tiger saw.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah. My girl and I watched it. She's like, "I don't know if I'm going to like this." And about 15 minutes into it, she looked at me. She goes, "Oh my God, this is so
weirdest shit." That's awesome.
But
if you, had that movie not come out when it did, who in the hell would have watched that garbage to the completion?
Yeah, probably nobody. Hey, getting back to something that you said before, though.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When you're talking about making posts, and you're sure some people hate you for some of the positive posts. You're like, "Oh, who's this guy with the sunshine and rainbows coming out of his ass all the time?" I don't need to see that shit today. But what I found that's been really interesting is a lot of those people that I have that are friends of mine that are really kind of like poo-poo and that kind of stuff. Now I'm watching them like posts like yours.
Yeah.
And I'm also watching them post in their stories, like repost like inspirational things that they've seen. So again, like if that doesn't tell you that there's not a shift in consciousness going on, then I think you've missed the mark here. You know, I mean, really, it does seem like more and more people are like, holy crap, I've been running this rat race for so long, and I didn't realize until now what was really the most important stuff to me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, 100%, man. People are being forced.
Yeah, the shift.
Everything's had to change. Yeah, like we're sitting at home on what is today? Shit, I don't even. Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday.
No, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday.
I have to look at my phone. No, it's Wednesday. You're right. Shit, boss one.
Yeah, I love.
This is crazy, dude.
Like today is the 92nd of March.
I know. I saw one the other day, like yesterday. It's like I've lived through 4 generations: 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020s, and March. Yeah, dude. What a month, man. Yeah. But no, you're right. And I feel like, what's that?
I was going to say one of my other favorite ones, which was so fitting, is like, I've eaten 22 times and taken 13 naps, and it's still today.
I know.
You're like, yeah, that sounds exactly like what I'm dealing with. You know, people have so much time now that they literally don't know what to do with it. And people are going stir crazy, which is another thing that I've been thinking about this. Hey, when's another time in history that people were suddenly forced to be quiet and suddenly forced to chill for a minute? And a lot of people are having a hard time with the chilling part.
Yeah.
Because it's run, work, all that stuff. Not that working doesn't sound like a good idea right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to see hey, I'm having a hard time just chilling and just being chilled for a minute. And that's an avoidance.
That's an avoidance mechanism for a lot of people to be busy. I mean, how many times do we catch ourselves saying or hearing other people say, I should be doing this. I should be doing it's very tough for us as humans to do nothing, to be to slow down, and I think that's we don't really have a choice, and it's how much we resist that that's where the change comes in. You can watch news all day, you can fight it, you can swim upstream, you can wait for shit to get back to normal. It's not happening. Or you can have the best shit. Just, dude, that's an awesome story. Not that you lost 75% in one day, but like, dude, that's great, man. Like like it's how we choose to react no matter what happens. And that's in our power.
Yeah, it's the reaction part is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And again, in Buddhist principles, one of the main Buddhist principles is the detachment from things, because being attached to things, whether it's material stuff or relationships or all these, the attachment of that is what causes you to suffer, because inevitably 100%. That stuff goes away.
Yep.
And now I'm really starting to realize, I'm like, hey, thanks Buddha for basically forcing me to look at a lot of this stuff and be like, oh wow, I really do need to be detached from the outcome of what I want to have happen to this, because I have zero control over this. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with right now, is the not being in control anymore. Like, I go to my 9-to-5 job.
That's ego, man.
This much money. My kids go to this school. They do this.
I'm this. I'm this. Hey, I've done this. I've made this.
Yeah. The hands are off.
It's an equalizer. This is a big equalizer. Yeah. But
I think so too.
I love what
I really do. And I have a lot of hope. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think it's like pausing a little bit. I was going to say, I know you love Wayne Dyer. I love what he said about ego being for edging God out or earth guide only. And that's, that's where a lot of the struggle is. That need to control is the ego, and attachment, like you said, with the Buddhist principles and Hindus and all the different shit. Attachment and expectations are the root of all suffering. It's only that we expect something to be different, someone to act different. We just expect shit to go our way. And our attachment to things keeps us from God. I believe that. Source, whatever you want to call it.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. I think that really keeps you. It's the biggest block that's in between. And the other thing that I've noticed too, like the area that I live in LA, not that I'm affluent, but it's a very affluent area. Mm-hmm. And, I've seen people driving around in, $200,000 cars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's such a status symbol now. But guess what? you may have a $200,000 car, but suddenly, like, it's kind of, I think we're kind of reorganizing priorities on some of this stuff too. The toilet paper is just a silly example, but it's like, hey, your car really doesn't mean anything right now anymore. And it may not mean anything to you anymore. Whereas in the past, it was, hey, this is who I am. I'm this guy or this status symbol and that kind of stuff. But now it's like, oh, man, I may not have a job anymore, and I may not have the ability to provide and all these other kind of things. And suddenly it's like, okay, so now I need to think about what is really important. Hey, I've got a great family. I've got this, I've got good friends, all these other things. And, that's one of the other drills that I've really been trying to do. And I call it a drill, but, repetition's the mother of skill. And also they've proven that repetition is what builds those neural pathways so that your brain can rewire itself and start operating in a different fashion. And it's really important right now to take stock every single day of the things that you're happy for. I've been walking around the house.
Gratitude, man.
I'm so happy that we got running water and there's sunshine outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy
counting
that I've got
blessings
this house to live in, and I'm not sitting out in the streets. Oh, man. And hey, listen, and if you wake up and you have running water, a roof over your head, and heat and air conditioning in your house, you off than 50% of the people in the world right now.
Yeah.
You're better off than 50% of the people in the world. So there's a lot of places, like places in Africa, they're like, there's the virus.
It's locking up. Hang on.
And no, I've got to run a gazelle to for my bill. I mean, it's just, but people are, and here we are in the States with everything in our fingertips. And now suddenly we're being forced to look at what really makes us.
Dude, a few years ago, we went 3 months. We went 3 months in the South without an AC. Dude, it was brutal, man.
Really, this is a really.
Hang on, it's locking up. Is your Wi-Fi good?
Yeah, I saw it lock.
Okay. Say something.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you? Oh, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Well, you stopped again, but can you hear me okay?
I can. I think. It's kind of freezing up.
All right. Well, yeah, that's okay. We'll just keep talking anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are. By the way, I'm loving the semblance of the beard that you've got growing right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've kind of kept the scruff, but I'm letting it out. I like yours, man. Is that your apocalypse beard?
I told my girlfriend I told my girlfriend I'm not going to get a haircut or cut my beard until this is all over. And I pray to God I don't end up looking like Gandalf. Because if I do, then it's been way too long. We've gone way too long.
Dude, yeah, let it go, man. You can get like rubber bands. So I did.
You like Captain Lou Albano?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. WWF back in the day. There you go, man.
Yeah.
Fu Manchu.
Oh my gosh.
So since we have the same church kind of background.
Yes, I think
I was going to read something to you. Can you hear me? Is it locking up again?
Yeah. No, you're good to go right now.
Apocalypse. All right. So what do we always think about apocalypse? Like the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. The Greek word for apocalypse actually means to uncover, reveal, or unveil the truth that has been ignored, forgotten, misinterpreted, and misunderstood. And the phrase apocalypsis literally means revelation at the end of an age or eon. Isn't that cool?
It is cool, and I also find it very funny that we're in 2020 and now all this stuff is going on, which is, I've been reading and watching all kinds of weird YouTube clips and everything. I'm sure that everybody else is, but there's a lot of the new age folks that are like, hey, this was supposed to happen. 2020 is like a big marker in the cosmic scheme of things. Yeah. So now whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I do know that there's a lot of shit going on right now that we can't really explain. So, whether you think it's because of cosmic disturbances or whether you think it's because, the economy has been mismanaged and there's, a crazy virus going around, I don't know which one it is, but
and I'm not saying it's apocalypse. I just thought that was interesting, like the different phrase of that. But maybe, I don't know. This has never happened, like you said, and it is about seeing clearly and being forced to get out of your own way to change the way you live life,
I tell you, out of all this, I just hope that people realize that, the kindness and the love that they're finding for their fellow human beings, that it lasts after this, because I really am seeing more and more people firsthand that are really trying to go out of their way and be nicer to one another. And again, in a city that's this big and this crazy, that's a really rare thing.
Yeah.
And I also have had, I've got, you have your closest friends that you talk to on the reg. And then I've got friends that are in the next circle that I'm still really good friends with, but I don't talk to them as much and that kind of stuff. And then I've got other sets of friends that I really love and all that kind of stuff, but I only talk to them a couple times a year and stuff like that. Dude, in the last 2 weeks, I've literally talked to everybody that's on my favorites list in my phone. Yeah. And I've tried to make it I've been calling some of my friends from college. I called my buddy yesterday. He's flies for just the funniest thing ever. And I was like, dude, I literally just called to tell you I love you. And I hope you're doing good. And the kids are okay. And he goes, dude, I literally 3 minutes ago thought about calling you. And he goes, I had just pulled up your name in my contacts and I set my phone down. And he's like, I had to go get something out of the fridge and I walked back in and it was you calling me.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I was like, hey, there you go. So yeah.
That's synchronicity, man.
Yeah, man, make sure you make your rounds. This is the time to make your rounds and call people and talk to people that you haven't in a while. Let them know how you think about them. Let them know that you love them, and let them know that you think this is all going to be okay. Because somebody might really need that right now, because not everybody gets to travel along. Everybody's rowing a different boat sometimes. And sometimes your boat is kind of happy. Sometimes your boat has got holes in it. It's a little sinky. Sometimes your boat is really bad and it's going sideways and spinning around in circles. Or sometimes you get lucky enough to be up in the front boat where you're happy and you're chugging along and there's sunshine and rainbows. But sometimes not everybody can flow with that right now. And it's okay to pass some of that along to the people that, that have been in your life and come and gone too.
Very important, man. So and it shouldn't come to a tragedy or whatever, but it is, it's a good lesson. That's something else we can take away. Nobody's promised the next second, man. Let your friends know. And I love what you said too about, the universe supporting you in ways that you can. What'd you say about that early in the podcast? The
universe will often do for you what you will not do for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that, but that also comes with, getting and just reaching out to people, not for anything for you, but you just never know what's going to happen. And I've had the same thing happen where I've thought of I'll text someone and they're like, I was just about to call you, like that, just putting good energy out there and what you share, I try to share things that are positive. I try to share things that are funny right now, just to but everything that we put out, like maybe you got a new scary news article about something. Is that going to lift someone up when you're sharing that? Or is that going to create more fear? And I think we have to be very aware of that and how we're directing our energy.
That's also one of the, I try my best to stay out of political conversations, to stay all that kind of stuff, especially on social media. And that's one of the reasons that I didn't do Facebook, because I've heard so many horror stories about people going on rants about things and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I just didn't want to do that. So Instagram was such an easier, platform for me to work off of, because it's just pictures and a little bit of text and stuff like that. And you can make videos and all that jazz. But I rarely post things that are anything political or anything like that. But I posted the CDC Gov site with a screenshot of the actual statistics from H1N1, the swine flu, that came through in 2009 and 2010. And I put a note with it. And I was like, just so people have sometimes your perspective, this is really good for your perspective. We've had a far worse virus that rolled through here 11 years ago that killed way more people. There were 60 million people in the United States.
I didn't even remember that one being that bad. It was so off my radar, dude.
The reason that you didn't realize, the reason that you didn't remember it being so bad is because it was not on the news 24/7 getting pumped.
Well, I didn't watch the news then either. I remember the airplane that disappeared. I didn't even know what people were talking about. Some airplane disappeared. Dude, no clue. I would hear women at my kids' sports practice, talking to each other, freaking out about them. Really? How? Yeah. It's great, dude. I'd rather be uninformed than informed with shitty stuff. Yeah.
And the reason that I posted that up there is because I wanted people to really see, listen, you don't need to panic right now. There really is no reason to panic right now. And I actually got more comments off that post than I'd had from a lot of people. And I had people that reached out that I didn't know who they were. And they're like, thank you so much for this information. It made me feel much better about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
To see that we've already had something that was statistically way worse that came through, you know? So it you know, you can either choose to focus on the good, on the outcome, or I shouldn't say outcome. You look at all the positive things going on, or you can watch the news 24/7 and you can end up in the fetal position, rocking yourself to sleep at night in tears. I mean, really. Yeah. So you decide right now what you want to do with that. I mean, and hey, listen, and on top of all this stuff, you know, I get a call 10 days ago. So we've got coronavirus. I get a call 10 days ago. My dad has now had massive complications from a surgery. He's back in the hospital and is not doing well at all. And so I thought I was going to have to drive. I was thinking I was going to have to drive back to Tennessee in the middle of all this. And luckily they've kept him in the hospital long enough that I didn't have to go home right now. And then he's going to go into a rehab facility, I think, after
How's he doing?
And whether he comes out of the rehab facility. What's that?
How's he doing?
Oh, he's not doing good at all. He's
Dude,
he's in really bad shape right now. Yeah, I mean, listen, but again, here's the detachment from outcomes. This is really where the rubber meets the road with a lot of this stuff. So in a 1 week period, you know, our jobs are gone. My dad's super ill, and I lost 75% of the money that I had, all in 3 days. But, you know, I'm still sitting here like, man, I wanted things to turn out a certain way, and they have not gone that way. But what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be freaking out all the time about it? Or am I supposed to just be like, it's going to be okay. This is all, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. You know, I could be in shambles right now, but there's no reason to do that. There really isn't. It doesn't help anybody, including, especially me.
You're choosing, man. You know, you're choosing that. It's like that Viktor Frankl, you know, you're choosing your outcome no matter what.
1000% you hit the nail on the head. I literally have had to wake up every morning, and then in my doing my meditation, my reading, all that stuff, I literally have stood up afterwards and been like, today's the best day ever. I'm going to try to make the most of what I got today, regardless of all the, you know, all the other outlying factors that are going on. And I'm not saying that and by no means am I saying that I'm capable of doing this, you know, 24/7 every second of the day, because there are definitely moments where it dips down and I'm like, oh shit, this is not super good right now. You know,
dude, I had that before I got on here with you. So like, thank you, man. As always, like, I mean, I was like, I mean, I wanted to do it, but I was like, I need Erik's energy right now. There's times that I need that, man. Like that best day ever shit. Dude, thank you, man. I mean, I really can't thank you enough. And I know we joke around about it, but like, and some of the people I've coached and helped, like, yeah, it's starting to catch on. And man, you know, if you say it enough, it does become that, you know, it really does. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. And there will be best day ever t-shirts coming soon.
Dude,
I'm like,
get me a large, man. I want one.
Okay, I will figure out a way to get you a large t-shirt out. We'll get this thing rolling.
We're out order, man. You gonna have them on your website?
Yeah, something going. You know what's funny though is, for years, or at least for the past couple of years, I've known internally that I should have been shooting video and making videos of all the kids' work that I do and some of the self-defense stuff that I do. And, you know, teaching a full class load and all that kind of stuff, I just didn't have the time or energy to really put that into motion. And now I've been like, oh, well, I've got to do, hey, now's the perfect time to do this. So we've been shooting videos nonstop every single day. I mean, we literally have shot 21 videos now, and we're shooting more today and shooting more tomorrow and shooting more after that to put content together to help people out. You know, it's also, like you were saying, the crisis in the Chinese characters, it's the danger or opportunity. This is the opportunity that you have. And to keep your mindset high, it's one of the few things that you can do is to look for the positives in all of this stuff and try to find something that you can pull out of it that's good for you, you know? Yeah. And the thing that I keep pulling out of this is that, hey, humanity's waking up, and I'm okay practicing the principles that I'm trying to use in my life and being detached from the outcomes of this stuff. And that makes me pretty happy in general. So, you know, food for thought.
I have an awesome question that I do want to ask before we wrap up. Two, one of which,
okay,
legit, what's up with the smog? Is it really that different out there?
It's the cleanest air we've had in LA in decades.
Dude,
it is
awesome.
literally the cleanest air we've had in decades. I have been out. We've been going out every day and throwing. I've got an aerobie. We've been going out and throwing the aerobie every day.
And, you haven't got it stuck on the roof or in a tree yet?
Not just threw it in a tree yesterday, and I was able to hit it with something and then shake it out.
I used to I love those things, but they'd always end up on the roof.
Oh, they're awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you go on Amazon, you can get 3 of them for $20.
Nice.
You get a 3-pack of them. So that's what I did. So I've got like 3 of them. I had one that stayed in my car literally for 15 years. It went through 3 cars with me. and it finally broke like 4 months ago. So I had to get new ones. But yeah, I mean, we've been going out and throwing the aerobie every day. And that's one of the things I've been absolutely amazed about. It's 71 degrees out here today. Yeah. It's sunny and it's hazy today, because I think there's some marine layer, but the smog has like it. I mean, when you don't have 8 million cars on the road in the morning and afternoon, it has made a dramatic difference in the air quality. You know, and in China, they've got places where they haven't seen blue skies in forever.
Yeah.
They've got dolphins that are swimming up the canals in Venice for the first time in over 60 years that they've spotted. I mean, I think it's kind of a crazy thing that the planet is kind of like, oh, okay, you took a pause here. This is good for me too, you know, for the planet. And
you're frozen. You there?
So it's happening right now. And that's why it is the best day ever, man. There is so many good things happening right now. And so many people, in the grand scheme of things, so many people wake up to their humanity and being more kind and loving. That's the
Yeah, man.
I don't think it gets any better than that as far as what you can pull out of this.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, and that's, you know, hopefully after this, we'll go back to, you know, serving others. You know, what can we do for others really? How much do we need to pile up and accumulate, you know? I mean, I've heard it said, and you know, there's more than enough resources for everyone. You know, like, do we need this nicer thing? Is it really making me happy? You know, like, I mean, we've all gotten everything that we have is something we once wanted, right? And you know, and it's a tough lesson. We want more and more and more, and it's constantly thrown in our face with our advertisement and everything else. But like, does it really make you happy? You know?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I just think it's, again, going back to what we originally said, I just think this is the shift in consciousness that had to happen. I mean, people have with the amount of materialism and all that other kind of stuff. And listen, I'm not opposed to people having stuff.
Oh, I'm not either. I'm not trying to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't think you were either. It just, when the whole goal is based on that kind of stuff, then again, that's the attachment. That's what makes you suffer, is being attached to things that are impermanent, that are going to disappear over time, you know? But the way that you treat people and the happiness that you have inside of you, that's an internal thing, man. That's an internal thing that nobody can really touch. That's for you to determine. And it's also something that has to be practiced. You have to put it in practice every single day to develop the sense to be able to keep that level of thought all the time.
Yeah.
Or at least keep it high most of the time. So don't feed yourself a bunch of garbage news. Watch funny movies. Watch The Tiger King. You know, watch stuff that is ridiculous. You know, laugh with your kids. Run around. Put your feet in the grass. I thought that was another interesting thing at the park. For the past few days at the park, I've seen more and more people out walking in the park, and they're like, you know, they kind of like looking around, have a smile on their face. We were throwing the Frisbee yesterday, and I was watching this little girl play around. She was running around and picking up every stick she could find. And my girl and I were we were laughing. We were like, that is so funny. This little kid is running around like picking up every stick in the park because she thinks it's so cool. And she has no idea the zombie apocalypse is going on right now. You know, it's like,
kids are awesome.
She doesn't care, but it was so cool to watch, you know, just so cool to watch the joy that she was getting out of this. So appreciate those little things in life right now, man. You just got to look for the good stuff and focus on what you're really thankful for.
Yeah. What you do have. That's gratitude, man. And you know, like whether you know, like, and it's a great idea to write it down. I try to get people I'm coaching to write 5 things in the morning, 5 things at night. It's not asking too much, man. You know, but the more that you do focus on what you have, the more that you attract the things that you want. And it's just like saying best day ever. I mean, what's your advice? Because, that's your mantra. What's your advice for people that want to believe that? But we're going to have those moments and those days, and you do too.
Yeah. Listen, you can, I guess I kind of have a formula of the way that I work most of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And regardless of what the conditions are on the outside, I always still try to go back to the mantra and still keep pushing that and pushing that and pushing that until you actually have that switch that clicks in you and you start believing it too. But again, here's the hardest, the trickiest part about all of this is the discipline to do it all the time. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit of discipline to make yourself do it all the time. But right now, nobody has anything but time on their hands. This would be a great time to wake up in the mornings and, like you were saying, hey, write down 5 things that you're really grateful for today, and then in the evening, think about those things that you're really grateful for and start focusing on all those things. But, anytime that I have the low moments is when I really ramp up the best day ever. If I've had a bad event go down or something else happen, or I lose 75% of what was my emergency money in one day, I'm like, running around the park. Best day ever. Woo. Best day ever. Woo. Best day ever. Woo.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
About moving your physiology too. That's one of the other things that's been great for a lot of people. They don't have any excuses now not to take care of their health right now as well.
Yeah.
So, you got a lot of people doing workouts and all these other kind of things that they normally weren't doing too. So it's like,
just out walking,
maybe I should take this time yeah, man. Get out.
People are out walking everywhere.
This is a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God that it's, well, you're in LA, but I'm thankful too. It's a little chilly this morning, but like, what a great time. Spring. It could be dead of winter and cold. I'm sure it is for some people, but still, like, spring is a good time. The earth is changing and blooming around us. Like, it's changing. Everything's changing. We're just resisting the other changes, but nature constantly changes. But a great time of the year, at least it's happening now, and we can be out in it. So.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
Well, thank you, dude. As always, man.
Yeah, man, of course. Hey, and listen, for everybody out there that's listening to this, it is the best day ever. This is the only day that we have. It's literally the only time that we know that we've got is the moments that we're in right now. Man, take stock of what you really got that's important to you. Think about all the things that you're thankful for. And when you start walking around in your house and saying them out loud, even for the tiny things, I've got running clean water. I've got a roof over my head. My kids are safe. We've got enough food right now. All those other things, man, there's just so many things we can be thankful for. And then we can also, anybody that we see, we can try to pass on a little bit of that love and kindness to them. That can be the gift that you give out to somebody else, because holding on to that doesn't do you any good, man. You got to try to pass that stuff out to as many different people as you can. And
even a smile, man.
I'm always friendly anyway. But I really have been trying to go out of my way to say hello to people here. And normally if you do that in LA, people kind of look at you funny, but now it's been like, oh, thanks. I'm doing good. How are you?
Finally fitting in. Like, you're finally fitting in out there.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're right, man. You never know, like, what a smile might do or a kind word. So good for you, man.
It's the gift that you can give out to everybody, for sure. For sure. And hey, and no doubt about it, it is the best day ever.
It is the best
day ever. It really
ever.
is. It's the one that we've got. So let's make the best of it today. And not watch too much news. Don't watch too much news.
Television, telling lies to the vision.
And, on a lighter note, not to be strange, but I love you, bro. And you're
doing love you too, man. Absolutely. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for helping me elevate my emotions and bringing me up. And I hope that does the same for anybody watching this, because we need it. We got to do that. So
and your home,
dude, keep doing what you're doing.
Your homework for today is you have to walk around and say "best day ever" out loud at least 100 times. That's pretty easy.
All right,
100 times. Do it 100 times today.
I can do that. I can do that. Times. I'm doing it more and more naturally. Yeah. But thank you. I need the extra homework today.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Love you, man.
Best day ever. Hey,
take care.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it is.
Brother. Peace.
It already is. Take care, man. See you, brother.